I want to just say real quickly, I know I stand between a Ford Silverado. So let me give you my 14 points on health care. First of all, I want to say to Sean, thank you for that introduction. It's introductions like that you wish your parents were here, because you know your mother would be proud and your father would be amazed. And while the introduction was about me, I do want to say one thing about all the men that walked me in. I would not be standing here today if it wasn't for the building trades of Chicago and the people that walked me in. And not because of them individually, but because of the hardworking men and women that they represent in the city of Chicago, who every day are building a 21st century city for the 21st century. These people, let me say one thing. I've worked for 2 presidents. I've been honored, both as senior advisor, chief of staff. I think I've shown that when the President of the United States gives me an assignment, and also as mayor of the city of Chicago, when I get an assignment, I do it. But you always want to know who's sitting next to you or standing next to you in a foxhole. And let me say this, if you got the Chicago building trades in a foxhole with you, you're going to win a war every time. And I say that because a lot of them become dear friends, and the other night I had a dinner after the election. Since I lost 8 pounds, I thought the best way to start reversing the course was have dinner with my friends in the building trades. I took a bite of steak and they ate the rest of it. And I picked up the tab. What a great deal. As my grandmother would say. But let me be also honest about something else. They would say this, and I said it that night to them, so I'll say it to you. 4.5 years ago, I don't think they would have envisioned, I wouldn't have envisioned that we'd be in a room together celebrating. We didn't start on the same page. A few of the unions, like the plumbers and pipefitters, yes, but not all of them. The fact of the matter is, the city of Chicago today, #1 city 2 years in a row for corporate relocations. City of Chicago, #1 city by dropping by a full third of any big city in America, dropping its unemployment. #1 city for direct foreign investment. #1 city families are moving back into. #1 city for the best public library system in America. #1 city for the best park district in America. And also, #1 city for Little League champions in America, and don't you ever forget it. But our ability to be #1 and also the #1 city, when I became mayor, we were #5 in convention business. Today, Chicago's the #1 city, adding 10,000 jobs just alone into the hospitality industry. Every one of those gains are because of the strategy collectively, both business and labor and public officials in the mayor's office and also the aldermen put together to put Chicago back on track growing. 2 years in a row, we have led the country as corporate relocation. 2 years, and also over the last 4 years, the biggest drop of any big city in unemployment. More people going to work. We also have the fastest growing central business district in all of America. We don't sit on top of natural gas. We don't sit in Silicon Valley. We don't sit on top of oil. We have the thing that everybody wants. The best educated, the best trained, the hardest working people in America. And people will come for that. And that's the partnership we built. Now, let me go through a couple things. When I became mayor, a lot of people advocated just slash and cut, disregard who it impacts. And the fact of the matter is, cuts impact people different because they start in life different. And I rejected that wholeheartedly. Other people said just jack up taxes as high as you can. I rejected that because I didn't think that was the right strategy to induce people to move to the city of Chicago, both their businesses and families. And prior to our tenure, we were running red ink. Businesses, jobs, and families were fleeing the city of Chicago. I just gave you the data that showed the results of 4 years of hard work and partnership. But what we did is create something that I call opportunity-based progressivism. Invest in your people and invest in a 21st century foundation of infrastructure for a 21st century economy. If you want a 21st century economy, it can't be built and run on a 20th century foundation. It's going to move at 20th century speed. And that's not something people can afford. First and foremost, our people. Every city in the country has a kindergarten to 12th grade model. City of Chicago now is on track for a pre-K to college model. We have universal full-day kindergarten for every child in the city of Chicago from now on. You can applaud for that. Those are your kids. Plus, starting next year, universal pre-K for every 4-year-old in a family of need. Second, we now have, when I became mayor, 4 out of 10 kids were dropping out of high school. 2 years' time, 8 out of 10 will be graduating high school. We extended the school day by more time than any other school system in America. Every child from kindergarten to high school now gets 2.5 more years of class time than they would have under the other system. And time in classroom means no time on the street corners of Chicago. And I think a classroom is a better place for a child. We've aligned our community colleges as second in the country, second largest, with the fastest growing industries in the city of Chicago. Malcolm X, healthcare; Olive Harvey, transportation, distribution, logistics; Harold Washington, professional services; Kenny King, hospitality industry; Richard J. Daley, advanced manufacturing. We brought industry in to do the curriculum. From now on in the city of Chicago, you earn a B average in high school, community college is free. Because the American dream is going to be alive and well in the city of Chicago. No family. I'm standing in front of you because I had 2 things, the love of my parents and a good education. And in the city of Chicago, when I started working, I had the name Sarah Lawrence next to it. Plus a ballet career. It got me really far. But the truth is, I had a school. I believe that if you come out of Malcolm X, you come out of Harold Washington, you come out of Olive Harvey, you come out of Truman, Wright College, it should mean something. Just the same way that the University of Wisconsin, University of Michigan, Notre Dame means when you land in Chicago, you have a chance at a future. That's what those schools should mean. And if you earn the B average from now on, starting next year, you do your job. Study hard, get good grades. Community college will be free. Your parents don't have to take a second mortgage or a second job to give you a shot. Because we're going to say one thing. We're the number one. You can, obviously, I'm a middle child because I always came number one because I want to be the eldest someday. But here's my point. We're the number one city for college graduates in America, according to Accenture. Between Madison, Wisconsin, and the city of Chicago, graduation day, don't get on the highway, you're going to be roadkill. Ann Arbor, roadkill. South Bend, roadkill. Whoa. I got it. Slow up, buddy. I got the microphone. Okay. You keep that up. Philadelphia, roadkill. But here's the deal. More people come to Chicago to start their career after they get a college education. We owe the people coming out of our community colleges that same opportunity, and we'll tell any company and any employer, you got somebody from Harold Washington all the way to Kellogg and Booth Business School and everything between. We have the best talent with the best work ethic in America. People at every skill level ready to go to work hard. But here's this other deal we're going to tell you. In an economy like ours, and Sean was just starting to talk about the statistics, I wanted to build a 21st century economy to put good paying jobs, people today back to work, building an economy for tomorrow. And let me be clear about one thing. While we're building those mass transit systems, we're building those parks, we're building those schools, we're building those community colleges, we're building those roads, we're building those waterways, it will not be done in a right-to-work city, not in the city of Chicago. Not in Chicago. If a college education, if a community college education is to ensure that you don't have to take a second job or a second mortgage for your child to get a shot at the American dream, let me be clear. No disrespect to anybody in the room. Chicago's competition is not Mississippi and Alabama wages. Chicago's competition is New York, London, Shanghai, Berlin, and Beijing. And given the way we're growing, watch out, we're coming after you. I'm going to be really clear. And so what we've done, let me just give it to you. 900 miles of water pipe over the next decade, totally rebuilt. 670 miles of sewer, either relined or rebuilt. 167,000 catch basins, totally rebuilt. 2 of the largest water filtration plants in America, rebuilt. 18,000 people in the next decade building a new water system, and when we're done, 2 years' worth of residential water usage that we used to lose to broken pipes, saved. And if California doesn't trust me about how important water is, watch. I told a business one time, go ahead, you want to move to Dallas? Okay, you'll be flying up here to take a shower. Number 2, we have the second largest, I said, I'll even give you the bar of soap, free. Second largest mass transit system in America. We have either rebuilt, rehabbed, or totally built new 100 stations. 35 miles of track. It will be the first system in December, will be totally, completely 4G, rebuilding the Red Line North, Red Line South, and the new Blue, which will take 10 minutes off the rail system. 11,000 people going to work, rebuilding our public transportation system. I take it twice a week, just did it on Monday. Third, we are rebuilding 325 standalone playgrounds in our neighborhoods throughout the city of Chicago. The fabric of our neighborhoods and communities where people come together and build friendships for the rest of their lives. Totally rebuilding them. We are also building our new parks. We did $1.4 billion of capital, touching 400 schools, and by the end of next year, every classroom in the city of Chicago will have air conditioning in the system and in the classroom. Our kids will focus on their teachers, not on the temperature of the room. We're rebuilding 2 community colleges out of 7. Malcolm X, totally new. Olive Harvey. Olive Harvey in 1974, they put up temporary trailers. I thought by 2011 it was time to make temporary, replace it with something permanent. Totally new. And last 4 years, we built and repaved 1,200 miles of road. And we set a new standard going on. We used to do 175 miles a year. From now on, it's 300 miles, a minimum every year. And by the time the 8 years are up, half of the roads in the city of Chicago will have been rebuilt in the city of Chicago. And that doesn't touch even also one of the most important economic engines, O'Hare and Midway, where we're building new runways, new capacity, the largest intermodal facility at a gateway airport in America. But from our mass transit to our schools, to our parks and playgrounds, to our community colleges, to our water system, we are rebuilding a 21st century infrastructure, because that's what leads not only people going to work today, it makes sure that Chicago stays competitive. And it doesn't take, in all due respect, a genius. In every economic analysis of the city of Chicago with 100 cities across the globe, economists, IBM, T.J. Carney, Chicago always is rated the second most competitive economy in all of North America and in the top 10 of economies in the world. And it's the only economy in that top 10 ranking. It's either 9th, 8th, or 7th. I'm the mayor. I think the 7th one is the right one. But in every analysis, one thing that's unique is Chicago's the only economy that is neither the financial or political capital of the respective country, yet it is in the ranking there. Why? Educated, skilled workforce, an infrastructure that can get you anywhere in the globe that day, weather permitting, out of Chicago, and we're working on that. But let me say one other thing that is important in here, and I want to challenge you on 2 other points, and I'll close because I know there's a Silverado at the end of the speech here.
You can pull the winner.
I'll pull the winner. Thank you, Bill. 1, I'll pull the winner, but if it's me, then people will know if it's you that it's a Chicago poll. 2 points. 1, I just gave you the economic benefit. And I think it'd be a good lesson to Washington. Don't let your policy that paralyze you paralyze your politics. You got to get moving because the country requires us to get moving. And second, and this is let me on this on the political point. A lot of people are around, and I talk about this. We just finished the election. It's going to end up at somewhere between 56.5 to 43.5. And it's in Chicago. I believe in an opportunity-based progressivism. I don't believe in pitting a fast-growing central business district against your neighborhoods. I don't think that's a good call. If your central business district isn't growing, you don't have the resources to invest in your neighborhood. So they have to grow together. But if you're going to be growing as an economy, you have to make sure that everybody has a chance to participate. That means investing in your infrastructure, and that means investing in the education of our children so they too have an opportunity. And not only is working economically, it is working politically, and it is a better challenge to the other side that is talking about a different type of economics that does not benefit everybody. And the people in this room, generation after generation, have come to America building something. You represent the hardworking middle class and the families who have aspirations for their children. I asked the building trades to also come back into our public schools in our urban system. Come and build a trade school, trade opportunities for the kids in the city of Chicago. Not all of them are going to go to a four-year institution. Okay. Not all of them are going to go to a community college. Got that. But all of them must go on from high school. Our public school systems today are built, as I told you, from kindergarten to 12th grade. High school graduation, the good news is 8 out of 10 kids in 2 years' time will be graduating from Chicago's public high schools. That's a great thing. But high school is not the destination. It is a milestone on the journey of education. And the education and training that comes with the jobs that you represent are essential for the kids of the city of Chicago, as they were for you and the members you represent. Come into our schools. You'll have a mayor that's ready to not only open the door, be your partner in helping build that opportunity. So our kids know, whether it's working in the downtown offices or building the downtown offices, they have a chance at that future. You will find a partner in the city of Chicago, because to be a successful city, everybody has to feel they have a shot at that future. We have a beautiful city. As I mentioned, we're the #1 city for direct foreign investment. When I became mayor, and I joke about this, there were about 8 or 9 cranes in the city of Chicago. There's close to 30 cranes now up in the air. We got about 6 more in planning. I'm officially declaring today, crane is the official bird of the city of Chicago. 1,200 people per crane. But I want the kids of the city of Chicago, regardless of where they live and regardless of where they go to school, when they look down and they see these high-rises and they see these buildings and this power and this energy, they have to see that either they can build it or work in it. And if we provide every child and every family that sense and that vision and that sense of opportunity, not only will we build a strong economy that continues to maintain and build a great middle class, we will also build a political strategy and a political program that continues to grow what I believe is a progressive agenda. I want to say thank you for this honor to be here to speak before you pick the next Silverado winner. I believe we have an opportunity to do something unique in Chicago. And I've asked my partners in the building trades to be that partner, and the good news is they have stood up and said, we're willing to be part of reform, we're willing to be part of change, we're willing to do the things necessary to build a new Chicago, because this is where our families live. We will not accept a failed status quo. Doing the same thing over and over again and expecting a different result never works. It's the first sign of insanity. Doing something different, trying something new, finding the resources, and everything I mentioned to you we're doing, paid for. I'm not talking about some hope and a dream. The new playgrounds, the new water system, the new roads, the new mass transit, all paid for. Guaranteed to put people to work, building something where one day everybody has a chance to succeed. And because of you, because of the people you represent, I believe the greatest days for Chicago are ahead of us, because we have a partnership that makes sure that everybody has a chance to participate in building a new Chicago. Thank you, and God bless you.